I just want to ask everybody to just take a moment, because I need this moment right now too, to take a deep breath, because I need it too. Everybody just breathe in, hold it for a second or two, and just let it out slowly. Okay, so I done talked you through the first breath, so now I'm gonna just hush my mouth and let's just do like 3 or 4 of them, okay? Let's start now. All righty then, how does that feel? You know, that kind of like takes away your day in terms of whatever you were doing or whoever you were talking to or whatever event you were at before we got together. It kind of like puts you in the moment that we're in right now. And that's very, very important. Thank you again for coming. And this is about Somewhere in a Rainbow. And many of you have the book and have read the book or have started reading the book. But if not, that's okay too, because we're still going to proceed with talking about Somewhere in a Rainbow, because the book is extremely empowering. Can you see this book? Can everybody see this? Everybody? Can anybody?
Raise it up a little higher.
A little higher? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
We did admit somebody here. Okay, there you go. I'm still working out the kinks for Zoom, guys. I'm not going to act like I know, because I don't know. Okay. I'm just working it out for the very first time. Okay. All right. So this book was written by me, of course, Rasheedah Sharif, and the subtitle is Living in a World with a Mental or Substance Problem is like living in a world of unconscious and conscious paranoia and loneliness. And I'm not going to analyze that for you or break that down for you unless somebody specifically asks me, but it's pretty much self-explanatory. This is my creative memoir. And the reason I say creative memoir is because is written in such a style, whereas the average memoir is not written. In a life path, and then at the very end, it's a healing journey, it's a healing path. This is going to empower you when you read it. I want to just jump right in here with the introduction, my little portion for reading, okay? But before I do that, I do want to tell you how you can contact me, because I know many of you, after we finish this section, if you're on Facebook or if you don't know already, you can contact me through my website, RasheedahSharif.com. You can find me on Instagram, Growing Sweet Trees. You can definitely go to YouTube and look at some of my YouTube videos, which relate to this book. And everything in this book is about mental health matters. Mental health matters in terms of it mattered to you and me, and mental health matters in terms of the specific things about mental health, okay? So here's the introduction. Here's my portion of the event that I really want to share with you. It's lonely and frightening inside. I'm embarrassed and ashamed to tell anyone how I am feeling. I don't want the stigma of being weak, complaining. Besides, people come to me for help. What would it look like if I ran to someone for help? I can't put my stuff out like that, okay? Living in a world with a mental or substance problem is like living in a world of unconscious and conscious paranoia and loneliness. We know something is wrong, but we don't know how to think about it because our emotions are directly attached and precedes rational thoughts. We are stigmatized for being different by family, friends, religious congregations, and educational family. Our circle of people who are supposed to keep us safe and help us evolve into positive adults are triggers to our emotions. We hide our depression, anxiety, aggressiveness, and other mental disturbances. In addition, we are often clueless as to why we feel so disconnected from ourselves and others. In any attempt to not think about the something are societal stigmas. We numb our emotions with a variety of outlets that create a false sense of happiness and success. Substances, sex, violence, workaholism, and unhealthy overindulgence in religion and other outlets are choices that covers the real issue. Who doesn't enjoy sex and the belief that religion equals faith, right? Overindulgent in a behavior in order to create a temporary feeling of euphoria perpetuates denial and avoidance. 21 days of a particular behavior creates a habit. What role do society's stigmas plays in preventing a person from getting help with mental and substance problems? This is a true account of my story. Now, that's a piece of the introduction. I'm just going to jump right over here to the reasons I'm motivated to share this story. I want to dispel the myth that therapy is for crazy people. I want to help to alleviate the stigmas and low self-worth generated by society. To learn what triggers are through based on self-awareness. To dismiss the belief that your stuff is so unique that no one else is experiencing it or will understand what you're going through. To help individuals to simply relax and embrace the idea that there is someone capable of helping them through a crisis. To communicate to all people that they are worthy of getting better, capable of feeling better, and have the ability to do better. To encourage people to take that extra step in finding a qualified professional. It took Rose, the main character in this book, 65 years to realize that getting professional help was okay. Now, that's the introduction. And I don't know how many of you have read the book or reading the book or just flipped through the pages and got through a particular section in the book. But I encourage you at this point right now, if you like, to open up your mic and to ask me a question if you have one, or we can just simply talk about a particular session or something in the book that, you know, you want to talk about. Okay. So.
Hey.
Joanne, Joy.
That's what came up. Don't ask me why that came up.
Okay, okay. So does anyone have a question? We don't have sensitive ears right now because this book is empowering and it's about healing and it's about revealing and it's about me sharing a story to help you to get where you need to be in life if you're not there, and to just do my part as far as mental health matters. I'm an educator and I'm also a master therapist, a master's level therapist. And I feel as though it's time for someone to step forward. Ms. Atum, I see your hand.
Yes, I have a question. This book, after I read it, it just seemed like it was very personal for you. And for me to write something like that, I feel like would have been very tough. So what was the hardest part about writing this book for you?
Wow, whew, the hardest part. Okay, the hardest part was stepping outside of myself and allowing myself to look at myself in a raw way, in a way that would not sugarcoat or lead me to believe that everything is okay and everything is not okay. I don't want to read it, so nobody else don't want to read it. That was really hard. Putting your stuff out there, just plain and simple, putting your stuff out there, because I know after reading this book, some people are going to look at me and say, well, damn, I didn't know she was going through that, or she went through that. You know, how did she do all that? You know, how did she survive all that? You know, I didn't want to have the idea in my head while writing the book that people are going to look at me differently. You know, I want them to look at me differently, of course, as a woman who have become wise through her journey, but not to look at me in a way to say, well, you know, in a negative type of way. Because when you put your stuff out there, it's out there.
Right. So do you feel like it was writing the book was more of like a spiritual practice for yourself?
Writing the book was 100%. It was so spiritual. I can't even begin to tell you how much in words, because the way it came to be was not my dealing. It's like I totally stepped outside of myself in writing the book. I didn't know it was going to come out like this. I didn't know the sections was going to take place like this. But you know, I had to get it down, and getting it down helped me to see myself differently and to love myself in a way that most people say they love themselves, but they look at themselves butt naked for real. You know, look at all the little flaws that society say you have. Realize that those flaws are not really flaws. They're really the beauty that you're representing as yourself. And it's always time for growth. And I do want to comment about another part that was really hard for me to write. Another part for me that was really hard was in talking about my children. You know, I wanted to give them equal time. I wanted to give them, you know, the equal time in talking about them. I didn't want to say something more about one and then say something less about another one, because my children are very kind of like jealous. You know, they make sure that I, you know, say things equally, you know, and they'll even go down to the last letter of what I'm saying. And mommy, but you said this amount about this one, you know, I'm just playing. But anyway, yeah, that was kind of challenging for me too. That was hard, you know, asking for forgiveness. The whole damn book was hard. You know, the whole book was challenging, you know. Yeah. You know, like talking about my sons, talking about my oldest daughter. My two sons is missing in action and the other one is really missing in action. I mean, you know, just everything. Talking about my pregnancy with my fourth born and being shackled, you know, to the bed, hands, and I mean, those emotions had to come back out, you know, and I had to like really be outside of myself in order to talk about that. Oh yeah, the whole book was really hard. It was challenging. I don't want to say hard. It was pretty challenging, but at the end, you know, it was like a metamorphosis in terms of just, hey, this is it. Yeah.
I felt like you put it all on the table with your book. So you said that one of the hardest parts was talking about your children in the book, and I can only imagine how hard that was. But with you laying everything out on the table, do you feel like you owe any of the real characters in your book anything? I know you had, there was a part where you had like a very, very strong apology in there to your children. And I mean, for me personally, like I cried and I just felt like that was just so intense and very emotional. And you were really able to put the reader in your shoes with that. Do you feel like you feel like you got it all out, or do you feel like you owe anyone else anything else to say?
I think I got it all out. I think I got it all out because it's all in one package, the book. You know, it's all in one package. You know, I addressed all of the things that I wanted to say, well, mostly all the things that I wanted to say in a way that came from my heart, you know, asking for forgiveness for the things I didn't know about, because I know, you know, there are things that a parent will never know about in terms of what their child go through, you know, and even when that child become an adult, the child still won't reveal everything. So the apologies and the forgiveness is for those moments that I didn't know about. And as a parent, you want to know about it, you know, and as a parent, you want to be able to do everything possible to, you know, help your child to develop into an adult that will, you know, just feel good about themselves and don't have any of the things that you had to deal with as a child, you know, but it don't happen like that. You know, it's just life lessons. It's just life lessons. And as a parent, you have to accept that reality and know that your child is evolving and you are evolving. and that you will be there for them if they allow you to be there for them, you know? And if they don't allow you to be there for them, you got to be able to deal with that too. Because like I said, I have 2 sons I haven't seen since 2005, you know? I cannot allow myself as a parent to stay in that space too long in my head, you know, because it's like therapy. If you stay somewhere, if you feed yourself something too long, you become that thing. You become a part, that thing become a part of you. And as a therapist, you have to be able to separate that, you know, in a rational way and just leave it and replace it with something. So that's the healing piece. You know, you taking something away that can potentially destroy you, and you're putting in place something else that can empower you. It's just like having a habit with smoking cigarettes or drinking. You know, if you don't put something in place of that cigarette, alcohol, you know, you're not going to be successful with overcoming that habit. Same thing. Good question. Good question. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
So in your book, you have the main character Rose, which is based on your life and events that happen in your life. But we also have the therapist as a character. Was it hard to kind of step outside of yourself and look as like an observer looking in? Looking back at your life, how was that process? Was it hard to kind of like analyze it from a therapeutic standpoint?
Yes and no. No, it wasn't hard because, you know, I meditate a lot. You know, and when I meditate, I can, you know, just remove myself from the present situation in terms of what's going on around me and just, you know, focus on what I need to focus on in terms of either nothingness, in terms of that silence, because that's really what meditation is all about. Meditation is not so much about, you know, your thoughts. It's about just being still and quiet within yourself and just maybe focusing on a sound of water or some music or something like that. And no, it was kind of challenging on the other hand, because after I finished writing a certain piece, I had to come back and you know, continue. So sometimes it would be a little challenging to just come back and start. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad that I created a character by the name of Rose instead of using my name, because that helped me to leave the situation and this higher self, this wiser woman, was able to communicate with this little girl type spirit, this woman girl, this woman child, in a way that can empathize with her, have empathy for her, compassion, and to help her to get on a healing path, you know? And I realized that in this whole process, that's the only way I was able to get the words out and to begin the healing path for real. So I hope that answered your question. But it's a yes and no type of answer, because you know, that's the only way Rose. I had to have a character, you know, and just step out of it and like hoover over the therapist and the client, you know, and write it from that perspective. So, yeah. Thank you. That was a good question.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Very good. Loud.
Okay. All right.
Woo!
Were there negative repercussions based on your disclosures? Because it seemed like something was alluded to about your pink daughter that seemed like it might have been like a Me Too kind of situation.
Like a what now?
Like a Me Too kind of situation, like seems like something happened. So that's a disclosure for someone else's life. I'm saying, do you have repercussions?
I don't understand the question. I don't understand the question. Can you break that question down just a little bit more?
Okay.
Okay, you're talking about pink. So negative repercussions in the sense of?
When I was reading the book about pink, you know, it gave me such a warmth because she, you know, that energy and everything. But it seemed like when I was reading, maybe I misread it or something, that something happened to her that was negative.
No, no, I don't think so. No. If you can just pull out the section that you would, you know, if you can just, if you, I don't know if you can pinpoint where you were talking about, but I can't pinpoint anything negative that happened to her, only the reference of her being, or any child or any person being the oldest. You know, you have in the therapeutic world, the positions, you know, siblings take in the family.
Right.
And the firstborn always takes on a position different from that middle child or that last child. You know, that firstborn really takes the brunt of a lot in terms of responsibility if there's other siblings that's followed. Because, you know, it's like, yeah, they next in line, you know, especially in a single parent household. And, you know, it was a single parent household. So that oldest child, you know, takes on the responsibility of a lot, you know. So without going back to the book, without you going back to the book and pinpoint exactly, you know, the spot that you're talking about, I don't know how to communicate or answer any differently other than nothing happened to her.
I'll get it.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, go.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, go. While she's getting that, are there any other questions while she's waiting, you know, because it's going to take a quick minute to get it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah, there you go.
Sleeping baby over here. I had to like crawl into the kitchen to participate. I'm speaking for myself, and I find that with certain people, there's a certain stigma attached if you're ever weak. Being me, you know me personally, I'm usually the one that people come to for advice, or the one that holds things together, gives 110%. And then when I'm in a position where I need to recharge, or I need to shut the phone off, or I need that time for me just to get my own thoughts, it's not acceptable. But it's acceptable, you know, for other people.
Right.
It's not acceptable for me, or maybe certain other people, or people might not understand when turtles, you need to pull back in, or the crabs need to go back into the shell. And it's like, I still struggle with like ways to just say, like, listen, like, I need time by myself. I'm not good right now. Like, let me just shut the phone off. Let me do something for myself. I cannot give anymore right this second. And if everybody keeps pushing me, then I'm really going to break down. And I just am wondering how effectively to portray that without coming off as mean, or I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter how I say it. I'm always on call, and I'm always on demand to protect and take care of everybody else. But then when it comes to myself, it's not okay. And I don't know if that's me, or if really I'm setting up this expectation with other people that I am always okay.
Okay, but, so I've heard you say a lot of things there. One of the main things that stuck out was the expectations you have on yourself, and those expectations that you have on yourself, they transfer to other people. Period. You know, if you're letting people know that you're this superwoman type person, and I know that you are, and you know, they expect you to do something because you expect them to expect you to do something. Now, you've already built that person, you know, and presented that person to the world in terms of how you communicate yourself, how you speak, the language you use, and so forth and so on. So now what you have to do, because, you know, it's not productive, it's really non-productive, because it creates stress. it creates anxiety, and it creates, you know, that whole panic rush type thing, if not with your body, inside of your mind. So what you need to do is start describing yourself within yourself differently first. You know, you said that you didn't want to do something. Well, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And sometimes there's no right or wrong way of saying it to someone. You just say it. Say it at the time that it needs to be said, and you have no apologies for saying it. You know, not even within yourself, don't have any apologies for saying it, because you are taking care of yourself. It's just like your baby right there. You're not going to let anybody come and say something to your baby or do something to your baby that you know is unhealthy, whether it's verbally or physically. You're going to defend your child, you know. So you, at this point, have to start defending yourself as if, you know, you started from scratch. And I don't want to say you're a baby, but you're starting from scratch with a new way of thinking about yourself and a new way of teaching people how to think about you. You know,
well, I think too with all this technology and this social media, it's like instant gratification right now.
Yeah.
We all need to be on call to everybody else right now.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. No. Stop that.
Right? I know that's the perception.
That's a perception, but don't let that be your perception. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Don't let that be your perception. You do not have to be on call for everybody all the time. You can step away. Just simply step away. You know, simply step away. No explanation. You know, this is my time that I'm going to do such and such, and boom, that's it. And when you decide to do more, you decide to do more, and not anyone else decide for you. I mean,
yes,
it takes time.
Times for me, in my more advanced years now, like I have to take those times to recharge. I need silence.
Yeah. And that's what you give yourself. Give yourself permission to do that, young lady. Give yourself permission to do that. You don't need anybody's permission to do that. Do it. And don't apologize for it. Don't feel bad about it. Feel good about it. Feel empowered. You know, when you, I did this, you know, and feel good. Feel good. And the more you think about it in a positive way, instead of thinking about it in, oh, I don't want, I just, they expect that. Sweep that out the door. Sweep that conversation, that voice out the door. You know what to do. You already have the answers. So now you just got to act on them. Change your thoughts and you change your ways. You know, one thought at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just start where you are and just keep moving forward with it. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, because when you start overthinking something, oh my God, you start making all kinds of mistakes, you know, and you use that, you start making the irrational choices. No, you know what to do because you are a very powerful woman within yourself. So just go for it. You know, don't let nobody define you. You define you. Make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
All righty then. Did Joy come back? Did Joy come back yet? Did she come back?
I'm back.
Okay, where are you? What page are you on? What page?
I don't know. Maybe I just mixed something up. I know that the babysitter slapped her.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I know the babysitter hit her, but I think, I don't know, maybe I just got confused.
You probably did. You're my niecey. You're my niecey. We from the same club. No, but I heard what you were saying, and I didn't want to put words in your mouth. In writing the book, just like someone asked me earlier, you know, the challenge it was in terms of writing about my children and so forth. I had to be so careful in how I word things and what I said and what I didn't say. You know, and, you know, for me as a mother, they were the gift to me. They asked to come, okay, so that they can teach me some things that I needed to know. From Pink, I needed the softness of the Pink and the self-worth and the self-esteem and the care and all that kind of stuff. From the red, I needed the courage, and I needed that spirit, that flame, that fire. Okay. From yellow, I needed that that burst of sunshine, that energy. Okay. From orange, I needed that faith, you know. And in the book, all of my daughters were colors, but all of the boys were comedic names. And that was not planned like that. I mean, it was not
beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful.
The way this book came was like the universe just came and dropped it in my lap, because my daughter, she did the editing, and when I told her I wanted to edit my book, within very shortly after I told her, it was done. It just came. So yeah. Thank you for going back to find that you didn't find. Okay, any more questions? Any more questions?
Going back and forth from healthy addictions to unhealthy addictions.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, you look beautiful, by the way. I just had to say it. So I struggle with that all my life since maybe, I don't know, 12, 13, from the unhealthy addictions of alcohol, drugs, sex, you name it. And then now at 45, approaching 46, still struggling with unhealthy addictions versus healthy addictions. How do one stay on the path of healthy addictions, and or knowing when you have a healthy addiction, knowing that, owning that, you know, some of us do what we do, and, you know, we say whatever we want to say to justify it, but when do we know, okay, this is unhealthy, I need to make sure I have healthy addictions, and of course, some healthy addictions are obvious, but if you could speak to that, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. I have an addictive behavior. That's how I refer to myself. I have an addictive behavior. That addictive behavior can show up in different ways, different actions. But I do know that I have a choice in terms of what I pick up and what I don't pick up. I do know deep down inside of me, and this is a personal journey for everybody who have an addiction, and everybody is on a different way. That's what the color, you know, that's what the rainbow is all about. Everybody's on a different color, a different wave, you know, a different vibration in terms of the life itself. When you get sick and tired, and this is not my quote, this is one of our ancestors. When you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of falling prey or victim to the same old all the time, that's when you know you're going to change. That's when you can be right up, you can walk by a liquor store, you can have some blunt by you can have some cocaine, whatever your alcohol, whatever your choice is, you can have it right up under your nose. But you know what? You need to flip that script and let that be that challenge. You know, how dare you come into me and try to break me down? You have to talk to yourself. How dare you? How dare you even, you know, tempt me? Oh, I'm stronger than that. You have to do some serious dialogue and self-talking with yourself, because it's not easy. It's challenging. It's not hard. I say challenging. It's challenging. It's going to be challenging for the rest of your life because you have an addictive behavior. I hope I got pants on. Okay. With my addictive behavior, this took the place, I don't know if y'all can see this, okay, but this took the place of...
hold it up a little more. Just hold it up a little more.
Because I don't see myself. I don't know how to get to that yet. This took the place of a lot of my addictions in terms of substances, because like you, my daughter, you're my spirit child. And I started at a very, in the book, it's in the book. I'm not talking about nothing that's not in the book. I abused alcohol and pills. I went to West Kenny Junior High School, Mecca. Yeah, West Kenny. And you had to be into something then. You had to be in a clique. You had to be a part of something. And being that part of something, you had to do what the girls and the guys did. And part of that was drinking Coke 45, Old English 800, going on the rooftop of brick, the towers, the projects, going on the projects, and, you know, doing our thing up there. You know, so, I mean, the addictive behavior is going to always be there, and you just have to work out within yourself that you're not going to use that as a crutch or a way that you manipulate yourself into feeling a false sense of happiness or a false sense of I'm okay because I got this to go to at the end of the day. You know, you just have to self-talk all the time. It's just like with your children, you telling your child, repeating the same thing for him or her to do all the time, over and over again, you know? Will they ever get it? Maybe, maybe not. You know, will you have a relapse? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. But if you do have a relapse, the one thing you don't do is beat yourself up, because when you beat yourself up, you want to get high. You know, you want to go on and try to get rid of that feeling that you don't want to feel anymore because you did something you know you wasn't supposed to do. So you relapse and you figure out within the soul, the spirit of yourself, what happened? You know, why did I feel like I needed to do that? Why did I turn to that? What were my other choices? You know, and if that thing happened again, and it will, you have some other things that you can do to get rid of that negative energy and replace it with something positive. And it's going to happen again and again and again, but you'll find that you get stronger as the days go past and as the weeks go past and as the months go past. That's why in the NA and AA meetings, they say just for today, just for today, just for today. Because if you try to foresee so much, and just for the day don't mean I'm not going to get high just for the day. Just also means that I'm not going to try to figure out something that's going to happen 2 and 3 years from now about my future, because I don't know what's going to happen. And if I'm overwhelming myself with what I think I want to happen, and then as things start to unfold and it don't happen, I'm going to go get high. You know, I have a reason to go get high because the shit didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. So I'm gonna go smoke me a blunt, I'm gonna go get me a drink, because you know what, I feel depressed, I deserve it. You know, I wanna drink some wine at night because I wanna go to sleep. You know, I mean, you know, it helps me to relax. It takes the edge off. Whatever the case you're making in your mind to justify what you're doing, at the end of the day, it's really not worth it. If in fact you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you'll know in your gut when you're there. You know, you'll know deep down in your gut when you're there. What you don't want to do is let the doctor tell you. You don't want to let the doctor tell you that you got cirrhosis of the liver, or lung cancer from smoking too much, or your membranes in your nose is burnt out from snorting too much cocaine, or, you know, whatever repercussions go on with drinking and drugging and so forth. You don't want the doctor to tell you that, because if that happens, you know, you done got to the point where you've done some physical damage. And then that physical damage that you find out from the doctor is going to play on your head, and then you're going to do it even more, because you need to numb yourself some more, because you're all messed up now, you know, you got some irreversible damage going on. Relapse is not always a bad thing. You know, relapse is another opportunity to learn something that you didn't know before, you didn't get before. And you need to be very brutally honest with yourself. And one thing I don't like, and I know it goes around a lot, people always make reference to generational curses and generational this and generational that. Yeah, there's some generational things that happens within families. And the reason it happens is because you see other family members doing that thing, and that whole thing that they're doing is perpetuated over and over again. You know, it's a learned behavior, you know. Now, what I did in the book, what I did in terms of raising my children, I didn't do anything around, I didn't smoke around my children. I didn't drink around my children. I didn't do anything around my children that I knew was unhealthy for me. So that let me know I had already planted the seed in my head that this is something you don't need to be doing, and it's unhealthy. Anybody that take a drink of liquor, or smoke a cigarette, or whatever the case they're doing, they know inside there's something that's not too cool. And they just psych themselves out that it's okay. So we don't need to play tricks with our mind. We just need to be, you know, honest with ourselves and not be too harsh with ourselves. If we make a mistake, just pick ourselves up and, you know, start over again. As long as you got breath in your body, you have an opportunity to start over again. You know, you need to put in some strategies to help you alleviate that desire. Come January, we're going to be doing some meditation, some color meditation. It's in the book, you know, about the whole healing path that's in here, the color meditation. We're going to go from prayer to affirmation to the transparent, colorless, and all through the 7 colors. We're going to go through each one month at a time. So that way you'll have something to help you through the process. The whole rainbow color meditation has really saved my life. These sweet trees that I make, I learned how to make them before I left Newark, New Jersey. And I was still like, anyway, the guy that taught me how to make these trees, he came into my life and he disappeared just as quickly, and I was never able to find him again. But he did tell me that these trees that I make, I would take them to a whole nother level. I never knew what he was talking about, you know? So now I understand. So I hope I've answered your question. You just have to be mindful of your thoughts, because our thoughts do play tricks on us all the time, every day, all the time. Our thoughts are very quick. You have to put some things in place to help you to stay balanced when those thoughts do arise, like some behavior type modification. You know, I know that working out helps. I know that meditation helps. I know that music helps. Dancing helps. I know that just taking walks in nature helps, you know, just being absorbed with nature. You know, who wants to come home and smoke a cigarette? I'm just giving this as an example after they've been in the forest and walking through the trees and, you know, breathing all that good stuff, you know, walking on the beach, you know, whatever the case may be. Looking at the snow, I know for you northerners up there, looking at the snow falling and, you know, cloud gazing or whatever the case may be. Just find some things to put in its place, and people, places, and things. You know, if you're around someone that that's creating some negative energy that keeps you in that mindset, and they don't have to be doing the drugs or smoking or drinking or anything like that. It can be just something as simple as the conversation you're having with them. Cut them loose. Tell them, you know what? Hi and goodbye. You know, we have to be strong enough to dismiss people that's causing us harm. If we know that we're not strong enough to receive their conversation and to let it go. Because some of us hold things a little bit longer than others, and holding that, it builds up and it builds up and it builds up. And before you know it, you got to power somebody else's stuff that you don't know how to get rid of. You know, now we're in this COVID-19 situation, and everybody's kind of like, you know, I want to drink something, I want to smoke something, you know, I want to eat something, you know, why can't I, you know, what's up, you know? So, I mean, this is the test. This is one of the greatest tests of all. This is the time that you pull out your creativity, your positive thinking, your affirmations, you know, your screaming if you need to scream. So in the book, Rose screams. She asked the therapist, can I scream? She screamed long and hard, you know, and believe me, screaming helps. Do what works. Did that answer the question?
Oh, yes, thoroughly.
Okay. Yeah, but we're going to get into meditation, and that's going to help as well. We're going to get into affirmations, and that's going to help as well. You know, a lot of things help, but you know, just change up. Oh, the last time I smoked a cigarette, this is what I did. You know, there was a lump on my neck. It had nothing to do with cigarettes, but there was a lump on my neck, and I went to the mirror and saw this lump, and you know, I wasn't being vain or anything. I just didn't want my body disfigured, you know, because I thought it was from the cigarette. So I wrote a poem to those cigarettes. I said, you know what? I enjoyed you when you was in my life. You were there for me when I needed you. There was never a time I couldn't get you. You know, you pampered me and you soothed me when nobody else was around. I went on and on and on and on about the cigarettes and how well you know, the cigarette was attached, and I was attached to it. And then I tore up my Cool cigarettes, because it was cool back then. Me and your mother stayed, Mecca. It was Cool cigarettes, you know. Y'all, other people did Newport, but we did, we did. So I tore them up, and I cold turkey. That was it. That was it. I thanked it. You know, so if you got an alcohol problem, take that drink. Look, I don't need you no more. You know, have a conversation with it. As you know, I like having conversations. With, you know, so, you know, just have a conversation. I don't need you no more. You know, what, you trying to destroy my life? You know, how dare you step to me like that and try to destroy my life? No, I'm gonna destroy you. Bloop, down the drain. You know what that does? It impresses upon your spirit that you're stronger than that. It's a ritual. It's called a ritual. Rituals have been going on since the beginning of time. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. We definitely in sync. I did that with Cheetos. During COVID, my thing was food, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. You know, I don't do anything that relieves the tension. And food became my thing, but that's dangerous. So
yeah.
What happens is, I was the one, you know, when you grow up and you're not rich, you have an issue with throwing away stuff.
Yeah.
You don't throw away food.
Yeah.
You don't, you know, you just don't. You all. So what happens is, you get the big bag of Cheetos, it's just you. You be like, okay, after I finish this bag, no more Cheetos. But that's not the case, because you're going to get more Cheetos.
Yes.
I literally went to the woods, which is by where I live, and I dumped the bags. I had junk food, and I had to dump it symbolically to know every time you buy this stuff, you're going to dump it, because you're only hurting. When you said that, that just connected. Thank you for that.
It's true.
It works. So true.
It works. It's a ritual.
It works.
It's a ritual.
Because I don't buy them anymore, because I'm not wasting my money.
Well, one thing about rituals, they impress upon your spirit that something else has stopped and something else is beginning. All religious institutions do it. You know, our ancestors did it. You know, we still do it. You know, like this is for the homie. You know, that kind of. You know, it impresses upon your spirit something more powerful than you. So when you go through the process of doing that ritual and that thing try to come back, you know, it's like your soul, your spirit won't out. It's like you're protected. There's a shield up. But you got to be serious about it. You got to be playing, because you can't fool the universe. You can't fool ancestors. No, you got to be real, you know, because if you're full trying to play games with your own stuff, you end up digging your own grave, you know. Awesome. We have about 10 more minutes, you know, so anybody have any more questions? We do have 10 minutes, because we're gonna cut off at 7 o'clock. Yes, ma'am. I see you. Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay, so I was curious if after you wrote the book and you went back over it and you had the book edited, is there anything that you had in it that you decided to take out that you would like to still share with people?
When I wrote the book and had it edited, I didn't read the book until I got it in my hands. I didn't go back after my daughter edited it. I didn't do anything. I couldn't go back until after it was in my hand. Because I know as a writer, I'll find things I want to take out, put in. I should have said it this way, that way. You know, the indecisiveness would start entering. Whereas it was such a spiritual journey, it was perfect the way it was. You know, and I didn't want to tamper with that, because I knew something took over my spirit when it was happening. I didn't question what was going on. I just, okay, you're the boss, you know, type thing. And that's how it went down. But no, there's nothing in there that I would take out. There's nothing in there that I can think at this point that I want to put in, aside from the meditation portion, the color meditation. Now, when we do our sessions, or whoever participates with the meditation piece, of course, is going to be a little bit more involved than the book, because sometimes things just break down in terms of writing. You have to just do it. You know, you have to just do it. Because if somebody went and meditated with the color red tree, for example, that's in the book, It's not going to be the same as you seeing a tangible red tree and you sitting there, you know, playing with the branches or adjusting the branches and breathing in the color red and understanding what the color red means, for example, you know, and empowering your spirit with that color red the same way you empower or strengthen your body with food, with a red apple or something, you know, a tomato or whatever the case may be. It's the same thing. We need physical food and we need spiritual food and we need mental food. It's a holistic approach. I am a holistic artist. So everything that I do surrounds our mind, body, and spirit because it's one and the same, you know? So what we do, we try to not talk so much about it as being separate, but just try to let it just like a yin and yang, let it weave in and out. You know, like the river, like weave in and out, opposed to the European way of this is over here, this is over here, and this is over here. You know, the arm is not attached to the body, and the body is not attached to the head. You know, no, it's all one. It's all one. Now we might have to, you know, do one thing at a time, but when you're doing that one thing at a time, in essence, it's affecting your whole self. It's because of how you're doing it, you know? When we're breathing in this color red, for example, you're subconsciously thinking about eating something that's healthy, red, an apple. You don't know it, but you are, you know? So one wouldn't say, oh, you're gonna eat an apple because you're meditating with red. Because it don't happen on the conscious level like that. It's kind of like more like a subconscious level. Okay, so yeah, good question though. I like that.
So now that you've been
I'm sorry, Brittany, you had another question? Because I had another one.
Sorry.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine.
It's just pretty much piggybacking off of what you said, but actually it's to Chinu. Chinu, mommy told me to ask you a question, so I'm just going to ask you now, and I hope I don't put you on the spot too much. But I haven't read the book yet, and I started and stopped. Mommy doesn't know this part, but it was based on the recommendation of my therapist. I've been seeing for about 4 years. I am on leave from work for mental health reasons. I'm really struggling with a lot of things, especially parenting my son tremendously without his father involved and a lot of other dynamics that's going on in my psyche. As a daughter of the author, Chinu, so I think you're the closest one. I know Yaya Mucci is on here, but I will not dare ask her. Do you think I should, do you agree with my therapist that I shouldn't read it yet? My therapist's recommendation was when I'm in a much better mental state and also when I have cleared a lot of things off my plate that I have to clear right now. Or do you think I should take the subtle pressures of mommy asking me, have I read it yet? Just try to read it.
I think, well, the book is heavy. I think you have to be in the right mind space to read it because it is heavy.
Okay.
When I was reading it, I'm not really an emotional person to begin with, unless it's, you know, but the book was very emotional. And I did it in doses. I didn't just sit and read it all at once.
Okay.
But you know yourself better than anybody, even your therapist. So if you think you're not in the right mental space to read it, don't put that pressure on you. Read it when you're ready. Know that it's a heavy book, but it is a very enlightening book. And I think when you're ready to read it, it'll be therapeutic to you as well.
Nice.
Because you'll see what mommy went through, and you'll see how she gets through it and what she uses to get through it. So yeah, I think take your time. You don't have to feel any pressure to read it all at once. You don't have to feel any pressure to read it right now. When you read it, you'll read it. You have the book, it'll be there. So just take your time.
Thanks, Chidu. Nicely said, sweetie. Thanks, baby. Little sis.
So hi, everyone.
Hey, Meg.
Oh gosh, Chino, you're just beautiful. I remember when you was born. And I think Sammy is your husband, right? Hi, Sammy. I started reading the book, and you're absolutely correct, Chino. I kind of, read it, and I read it in a little dose, and then I was like, wow, it was enlightening. And thank you for inviting me into the Zoom meeting. Thank you for sharing your life, your experience. Growing up, I've always revered you as, a strong woman, and so, sophisticated and elegant. It was like, oh my God, Miriam Mother cursed. Seeing you and being an adult and looking back now is just like, wow. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
And I see, while I was reading the book, there was a lot of overlap. And I was like, wow. I was like, it's funny, we talk about Newark being such a big city, but from, take it from me, from running for office, Newark is a very little city. And everyone is socially interconnected. And seeing went to West Kenny Junior High, and I was like, wow. I wonder if she knows this person. I wonder if she knows and just the travels and the crossing. Who knew in 1991, 90 that I would meet your daughter in high school? So
I know. Yeah.
It's just parallel.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Just listening. And I've always known you to be a deep and spiritual woman, very holistic. And your approach, and just speaking to us and giving us advice, and I thank you for that over the years.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're quite welcome.
Lastly, I just want to say again, this has really been an eye-opener. You never know what you go through, and it's funny because really quickly I was watching a YouTube that my honey had suggested. He's like, check this out. And it was talking about dealing with pain. And I was like, can you tell me something? But the person was talking about how you handle it and not allowing pain to be a tenant, just allowing that pain to be a visitor.
Yeah,
you deal with things. I'm a rationalist, so I can kind of departmentalize things. And that may just be my way of, dealing with things.
Right.
So I rationalize it, and then I put it
there. Good. Yes.
It's worked.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for other people.
Right.
I like to do the hard challenges first and get it out.
Yeah.
But it also talked about what you just said. He said, the 4 things that you can do to kind of de-stress or operate in positive, and one was he called temple care, exercising, not being that over excessive in it, not that you over excessively in, especially like religion.
Exactly.
Is something else.
Yes.
That's not truly the Holy Spirit that's talking.
Exactly.
So I just, hey, Kalila. It's just
What's up, Tameka?
So it's really a blessing, and I'm just happy to see you all doing well and thriving well. It's just been a blessing.
Yeah. You all are a blessing, and I really appreciate you. And this is how you heal. This is how you grow. This is how you evolve. We shouldn't have certain types of secrets. Let me see how I can put this. We should be able to share what we went through to make the next one, help the next one to get where they need to be. It's like get on my back. Get on my back. I'll hold you up, because this is how I held myself up through the years. So this is something you can do. I'll help you to get there. This is what I did: A, B, C, and D. Not just sit back on stuff that's worked for you and don't share it, or don't talk about the pain and the gains. You know what I mean? It's the pain and the gains that's going to help not just me, but us, period. You know what I mean? And Tameka, I know you're running for office and everything, and you know this oh so well. It's the pain and the gains, that we have to be able to look at and put together, and it's like the yin and the yang. You one don't exist without the other. Okay, so like you say, you saw me, my children saw me as this woman raising her children. We did the drama ensemble, we did all these cultural, beautiful things, but you never don't know what's going on the inside of a person and how they're making it. Okay. And so if I got to where I am by the grace of the universe, the Most High, however you want to say, then I need to share some of that stuff, you know, because it can maybe help clear a path for you. You know, like my daughter Miriam was saying, the things that she was being challenged with. Now, I might not be there physically right here, right then, and right now, but maybe there's something in the book, you know, that you read that I overcame, or that I was able to talk about, you know, to let go of, because when you hold the stuff and it just festers, you know, and everybody's not going to write a book. Everybody's not going to have a real down-to-earth best friend that they can talk to help them to come through some stuff. But I do recommend everybody find someone at some point in their life, if they feel like they're being troubled or bothered with something that they can't handle on their own. I got to the point where I couldn't handle it on my own, so I had to leave myself in order to become myself, you know, and leaving myself meaning that with the tools that I had as a therapist and all my years of training, of teaching meditation and doing the things I did holistically, I had to actually embody this up here to come back down here to get where I need to be, you know? So that's where we are. And I thank you all for coming, and we're gonna just end this right now unless we have a burning question or anything. Everybody good?
No, we good. We love you.
I love you too. I plan to do this again on the 22nd at 6 o'clock.
I see you, Brittany. I love you guys.
At 6 o'clock, the 22nd of each month. Just mark your calendars now, because you know, read the book as slowly as you want, or you know, just wait 5 years from now. This, like Chi said, it'll still be there, you know. But believe me, once you do, it's empowering. It's very empowering, because here I am. You know, I bear witness to the empowerment of it all.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love you guys. Mecca, you're beautiful. I miss you.
Look at I love you all so much. Thank you, Mecca. Thank you, Yaya, Chi.
Bye, Joy. Bye, cousin. I'm going to call you, Joy.
Everybody.
Okay, good.
We got to do a girls trip.
Yes.
Girls trip.
So, I miss you, girl. Thank you for the love. Thanks for supporting my mom.
Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.